Hi everyone, it's Erlene of Erlene Garcia Art, and I'm wishing everyone a happy new year. So let's start it out by designing a medicine wheel, medicine bag, or you can also use it like I am for your earpod case. Let's take a look at the items that we will be needing. Now you can use any size seed beads that you have on hand. I chose an assortment of rainbow, and you will be needing your leather. You will be needing probably about 8 inches and then a long strip to go as your tie. This is a rotary cutter that I used to cut the leather. You can of course use your scissors. Choose beading needles that are the accurate size to go through your beads. I'm also using Nemo thread. Some people call it Nimo, I call it Nemo. You will need a lighter to burn close to the edge of the thread. If you so desire, some pliers to pull the needle just in case it gets stuck in the leather, and scissors to cut the thread. You will also be needing an assortment of seed beads. For the center of the medicine wheel, I really wanted the light to dance on it and sparkle from across the room, so I'm using bugle beads. If you don't have bugle beads, of course you can use about 3 or 4 seed beads to make up for the length of the bugle bead. The seed beads, the majority of them I purchased at Hobby Lobby for 50% off that price, so they were $3.50. It's a size 11 delicate bead. I like this type of bead because we will be needing to go through it several times, and as you can see, it has a large hole. I'm also using from my stash, I love these metal vintage beads that my sister purchased over 30 years ago at a Jerry Garcia concert. Now I will be using these sparingly and only at the top of the medicine bag. The reason I chose Delicas is because they are even in size and they lay nicely against each other. Let's look at the top. And as you can see, the vintage beads are slightly bigger and will only be in the middle and at the very top. And then I will still have some left over for my private collection. Now, these are Toho silver lined size 11 that I chose to go on the edge of the medicine bag. So basically, they will be the stunt doubles of my vintage ones. Now, the green ones are Charlotte's, and the red ones are silver-lined Rocales. You will also need to draw a pattern, which is basically a circle inside of a circle with a cross. Now, I'm using a template that I just happen to have on hand, and it's just to make circles. If you don't have a template, you can use 2 different size coins, and what you will need to do is basically draw 4 slices of pie in the middle of your 2 circles. That's the easiest way to do it. And then you will have your medicine wheel. I then drew it on top of some Pellon that I had. If you don't have it, you can use felt. I folded the Pellon over about 3 times. Oh my gosh, I forgot to film the beginning of how we start. So I'm going to show you the example on paper, and then we'll get back to the original clips. After you thread and knot your needle, come up through the bottom, out the top, pick up your 5 beads, and make a basic stitch. Make 3 rows at the top of the cross, and you will do this 8 times. The lazy stitch should look exactly like this. Now let's start our next medium red color. Pick up 5. Stitch down firmly, and then when you come back up through the middle of the 5 beads, and we are going to tack them down. Our next row will be 4 medium red color beads. Tack those down. The next row will be 3. The next row 2. The next row 1. We will continue to do this on each side of the red, and now I have one more set to do. So this is the original look: 5 beads, 4 beads, 3 beads, 2 beads, and 1. Go back through the last red bead you picked up and pick up 5 orange. We are going to make an orange triangle this time, doing the exact same thing in the opposite direction. As you can see, once I go back through the fabric with the 4 orange beads, I come back up through the 2 red ones and the 4 orange ones, so it will continue to be smooth. Try to get in the habit of doing this on any bead project that you create. So now we're going to start our yellow. I'm going to pick up 7 yellow seed beads and have a white center. So on each row, I will start with 1 yellow, and then however many beads it takes to fill the center with white. The yellow and white will also be a triangle. Once I am done sewing this down, I will go through some and tack additional down just to make sure they're smooth. Now let's start with the black. I sew down my black beads in the same manner. Now, when we get to the cross, I will pick up 1 bugle bead. Every time we go across the cross, we will pick up a bugle bead. I went ahead and went around the top of the medicine wheel and outlined it with black seed beads. Now, I sewed back and forth on the cross with the bugle beads, and that went by very quickly. Now I will sew the edges of the bugle beads with black seed beads. All stitches are done in the lazy stitch way. Now let's pick up some turquoise beads and start to fill the inside of the pie area. I then picked up 7 turquoise beads and made a very simple cross so I could fill in even smaller sections of the pie with just basic little stitches. You could choose to do this just in a solid turquoise if you like. I did use my vintage tin silver beads and the green charlottes just to fill in that area. Now let's look at it. So it looks like this, and I took these vintage beads and I sewed another circle around the black because I wanted it to be extra sparkly. After everything is securely tacked down, I cut the piece off of the pellon, and be very careful because you don't want to cut any of the stitches. Oh my gosh, we're almost done. This is so pretty. I'm so proud of myself. Now let's prepare to put it on the leather. If you have a rotary cutter and a ruler, or you could do this freehand, cut out the shape of your medicine bag. I cut a rectangle, folded it in half. I rounded the bottom part with the scissors, and then I folded the top part over about 1 inch and taped it temporarily so I could cut some loops. And this will be the part where our leather strap will be in and out through the loops like a drawstring effect. Now, find the center of your bag, tack your medallion on, and before you sew it down, take a black magic marker and color the edges of the white pellon so it doesn't show. This way it will blend seamlessly into your black leather or whatever color leather you're using. I took a paper clip and pinned the bag together while I did a whip stitch with the same beading thread all the way around. Now let's start doing the bead edge, and I did it on paper so it would be easier to follow along with. So what you're going to do is pick up 5 beads. You're going to make a loop around the edge of your medicine bag, and it will look like this. Now you're coming out the front. Now what we're going to do is go up through those 2 red beads, always keeping your thread firm. We're going to pick up 1 pink bead. And now we're going to go into the 2 red beads that are in the back. Your 2 pink beads should be laying side by side exactly like this. Now, let's go from back to front and pierce your leather. Now you will be in the front again, and then we will be picking up 2 more red beads. We are going to go through the pink bead, pull firmly, and then we will proceed to pick up 2 more red beads. As you noticed, I wrote some little notes so you can do a freeze frame. Thought that might be kind of easy. So once we pick up the 2 red beads, we're going to go through the back and come back out through the front. Now, in the beginning, if you're a new beader, you might want to just do a couple of colors like this. You're at the front again. We're going to go through those 2 reds and then pick up another pink one. Continue into the 2 red that are in the back. And then we're going to do this step all over again. So this is a really easy and fun edging, and I hope my notes were easy enough for you to catch on. This edging would look fabulous on moccasins and other native accessories that you might be creating. So now let's go back and look at the bag that I made. I did the exact same 5 bead pickup and use the colors of the medicine wheel to coordinate. Now, if you feel that you might, they might be a little bit loose, you can always go into the beads next to it and sew back and forth just to make it a little bit more tighter. That's why I like using the beads with the larger holes. Always try to keep your stitches as even as possible, and it'll come out looking really nice. Now, let's start with the top fringe. Pick up 5 beads, go back through your leather, and this time we're only going to go up through 1 bead. We are sewing at the very edge, and now we will pick up 4 beads and continue to pick up 4 beads for the rest of our pattern. Now, you can see I picked up 1 black, 1 silver, 1 black, 1 turquoise. I'm keeping them close together so it will make that little point. This is a very easy fringe, and it's one of the ones I learned whenever I was a teenager. It's so simple. This next part is totally optional. If you want to do peyote stitch on the end of the straps, and what I did is I folded the thin leather. Now my leather happened to be very thin, so if yours is thin like this, I wrapped the thread around a couple of times so it would stay firm, and then I whip stitched about 1 inch or so. Now let's pick up 5 beads, and this will be a very small and quick peyote stitch. Go into the first bead and pull your thread firmly, and then we're going to pick up an additional 1 bead. Skip a bead, go into the next one, and it should look like this. So let's continue. I'm doing 2 rows of turquoise, 2 rows of black, 2 rows of silver, and then I will continue it with black and turquoise again. So do both straps, and then let's see how we weave them into the little cuts that we did earlier. I tied a knot on each end, just a simple overhand knot, and then I tied the 2 straps together. So that'll go around my neck and I can wear it at any length. The way I threaded the strap, I started from the inside. I pulled one of the straps through and then weaved and then pulled the other strap through. Continue weaving the other side through until we reach the back. Make sure that you leave about 6 to 8 inches in the front because that's where we will be tying our drawstring. This is the back. I tied a simple overhand knot to keep it in place. So let's look at the front again. There's about 6 to 8 inches to tie your top of your bag together. When sourcing leather, try going to your local Goodwill or Salvation Army and upcycle and add a style leather skirt or pant. You might find them on sale, and look what you can make out of it. Many tribes throughout the USA use their different traditional colors that represent earth, water, air, and sky. I chose these brilliant, beautiful rainbow colors for personal reasons, and another reason is my name is Chasing Rainbows, as some of you know. Next time we will be making these beautiful matching earrings, and I really hope that I inspired you to create some beautiful beadwork along with me. Let me know how yours comes out. Have a happy day. Bye.